Chronos Imagination Part 3, September 5th, 2014. Now, imagine the third thing. Imagine that there is actually metaphysical evil, like evil which is pure evil. It's perfectly in its evilness. The metaphysical evil. And actually that evil controls this planet. It has it under its control. So all you see are the levels of evil. When you see a brutal cop beating a guy, handcuffing him, and then shooting him. What I've seen on the YouTube like years ago about black guys sitting in a subway and cops arresting them, and you see a guy on his, like, he has a handcuffs on his bags and a cop above him, which was handcuffing him, pulling a gun and shooting in the back, and people from a subway train filming that. You can find it somewhere on the internet. It's like it's a classic, and there are other guys like arrested by him. He was like a young guy, father of a small boy, a black guy. So let's say that that evil starts with that psychopath, which which is is he just a psychopath, or is he like possessed as well? When you have like evil spirit, just imagine that you have an evil spirit in already psychopath, and that evil spirit can actually get away with that. Just imagine that. So imagine the second level of evil, like you have the whole evil in the system. Like how come that cop get away with that, or these guys getting away with that? You know, black guy steals a chewing gum and then he ends up in the prison for 10 years. This guy shoots a guy in front of cameras, multiple. Who gives a shit? So you have a second level. So now you see like that evil, that injustice is not only that guy like pulled the trigger, but it is in the system. So where is it? If it is in the system, dude, it's like everywhere. It's in a lack of a better word, it's the magic. When magic meets the technology. So the technology, you can get it. You can get the microwaves. It's been declassified, right? It's been used like I think it's in the process of being used in states for protesters. They can be hit by the microwaves, non-lethal weapon. Declassified like a couple of years ago. It was on CNN. Still, it's on YouTube. So microwaves declassified. So you have that scalar, that technology which affects human mind. This is not still declassified. Simply engineers and people who suffer talk about it. It's well documented. For beginners, and I'm kind of beginner, Jesse Ventura, Brain Invaders, excellent. Check it out, really good. And then you have Morgellons disease, and you have to also check the Sophia Smallstorm on the Morgellons disease and the cyborg agenda, and you check that, and then you add all that, and let's say you already checked the beginners, David Icke, and you know about the thing, and Alex Jones, you know about the coffins and FEMA camps and so on. So let's suppose you checked out that. So something is going on when you check out the preparedness, which goes back to the cops, which are like never been better trained, never been better equipped, never been crazier. And we have that, and we have like people talking about New World Order. Interesting. Now, all these things are actually one thing in common. They're evil. It's not a big philosophy, I hope. So they're evil. So is there metaphysical evil? Like, you can't see it, but it exists in a spiritual form. Yes, it does. It totally does exist, and as you can see, it controls this planet. Of course, it controls the religions as well. What do you think where those sacrificed kids go to be sacrificed? Infrastructure is already there, for the guys which are above bases, so they don't really have to go down below all the time. and also build on and again another topic, ley lines, the energy lines, chakric system of the planet Earth, where these cathedrals and these temples are. And when these bad rituals are done, then these places where children been sacrificed to those places, it affects the whole aura of the Mother Earth, and therefore affects us all as well. And they're traumatizing, Earth as well. Just on spiritual level, Earth is also alive, and she has a soul. Very good soul. So you have that as well. Imagine just that in sphere of magic. Harry Potter like thinking, and that there is this metaphysical evil, and we as a souls exist there. So why? So in my theory, we exist there because we simply wanted to see something which is completely opposite of the truth, which is lie, and evil is lie. And then you see that lie, and you see that harmlessness, that evilness, with that evil, and this is not me. So you simply know what are you, what is the other thing, and you learn. You learn as well with your own deceptions, because you are born in the mind control system. So then you learn from the beginning how it is really to be born into a completely mind control system, which is this planet. I was born in 1975 in Socialist Federative Republic of Yugoslavia. For me, Tito was a god, really. He was like bigger than life. Everybody loved Tito. Nobody talked anything bad about Tito. Why the fuck would they? Because they witnessed mass executions before that. That's why. Same as people here don't talk about in Cambodia, in Phnom Penh. They don't want to talk about Khmer Rouge because they still live in the same system. So for them, it's not a history; it's present. For you, as a journalist from outside, it's like interesting. For them, shut up. You come and you go. We stay and we look at those guys all the time. That was also Tito. Long live Tito. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the good things. About bad things we don't talk. That's the system. When you have collective madness. And as a kid, I was the first victim of that collective madness because I absolutely had no idea about any communist crimes whatsoever. For me, it was a perfect system. Everybody really lived in that illusion. Father and mother simply don't talk about these things. Grandfather, grandmother, which witnessed and blah, of course, don't talk. As a kid, you live in a total oblivion. That easy is the mind control. Big genocide. Now imagine small things people simply don't want to talk about. In totalitarian systems, nobody had internet, nobody could speak. For a joke, you would get 2, 4, 6 months. And I tell you exactly which joke, what I heard as a boy. But not now, because I just want to tell you how fucked up is the mind control system. So what was the joke? Milka Planinc and Mika Špiljak, which been either president or prime minister, but two important guys. Like everybody talked about them, and I as an 8-year-old, I knew about them. So they end up in hell, and they will ask them, okay, now you guys, you have to all jump in this pool of shit to see how big shit you are, spiritually. And so everybody jump in, and then goes Milka Planinc. She goes and only to the soles of the shoes, and they will ask, what the fuck? I mean, Yugoslavia is such a big shit, and you're nothing. And she says, Mika Špiljak under my feet. and his son was in a trouble with some money stealing from oil corporation, which was state corporation, and the director had to flee to Germany, and they killed him. And this is like a famous case. So as a kid, I knew nothing, but people been ending up in the prison for telling this joke. It was all connected to this affair, and they still had to keep their mouths shut. Wow, for me it was just a joke. kids been telling it to each other on the beach. This is how I heard it. You know? But explaining is something more. So how many things you simply don't know? And now just imagine evil mind controlling the whole fucking planet. What is stopping is your natural spiritual evolution, because when you do this evolution, then you start seeing things, and then when you start getting more power, and it's precisely putting you in that place to prevent that power. And the main awakening is the awakening of the third eye, which is basically then you're able to see, and this means Illuminati. Exactly that. This is the definition. And it can be trained, it can be induced, and so on. In Tibet, they've been like putting certain herbs and drilling a hole into young monk to see people exactly as they are, not how they prefer to be seen. They've been stimulating this gland here. I don't know how it's called. I simply feel it. The way I feel it is like it's like a bluish and it goes like this, and it's trying to open itself, but it's been under enormous attack, because when microwave is hitting, it's also hitting you here in the back head and so on. Just to prevent that. Plus all the problems in the real life. Use imagination. How many people, targeted individuals, have this problem? Pain here and the frontal lobe and here. How many? I have. This one here since 1998. I clearly remember when it appeared for the first time. It was 1998. That's right. So, imagine that. That's subtle manipulation. And I thought it's my intuition. When I think something good, it goes off, and I think something bad, like don't do it. And it worked in many occasions, but then it started to lie to me. And I didn't know. So I called my Sila instructor, Sila Method Mind Control, which was a school in Zagreb. They have courses, 2-day courses. Of course, it's Illuminati technique. And I finished it in 97. I didn't know that. I absolutely never heard about it at that time. And the girl, which was the daughter of a guy who was working there, a big guy from Tesla Ericsson Corporation, some director. He was also doing Sila. He learned that in the States and so on. Became instructor. His daughter, like, oh, it's the intuition telling to you what to do. Okay, yeah, it's the intuition. Before that, learn transcendental meditation. After that, Sila Method Mind Control. I'm practicing that. And that's it. You simply end up. Then I was like amazed how much they gave me, like the visualization and the remote viewing technique as well. You learn, it works fine. Yeah, they all teach you that, but they introduce some other elements like guides, advisors, which turn into spiritual guidance, and this and that. Immediately control. You learn to meditate, but in their system. Now imagine when I say Dr. Kurando Malanga, exactly, I know what I'm talking about. Because I tried every single their trap and techniques, just checking out throughout the life. The public, the manipulation of the public, it's brilliant. It's on all levels. It's marvelous. So, the spiritual truth wanted to experience the opposite. It created metaphysical life. It also divided itself into many different souls, and the touching zone is the samsara. And we are simply now extracting the opposite, what is the opposite, and therefore we're teaching about we're learning about our own strengths and weaknesses through this system, which is totally controlled, because this is the fair play. You're soul, but you go down, you don't know what you are, and they're lying to you all the time. Yeah, let's go. That's about the human experience. And control mechanism is in the movements of galaxies and everything, just in case if something goes wrong, we have this big explosions of energy calculated. We are the energy, wipes out everything. It's okay. Just in case if things go too far. Nothing to worry about. Everything is fine. That's my message. Imagine that. That's my message. And good luck to you. Don't worry. It's gonna be fine. Endings are always fine.